is going on, everybody? This is not a Powerstroke. This is something that I haven't really talked about here on the channel, and yes, it has a bow tie. No, this is not Rain Man Ray's truck. This is my truck. This is my 2007 Chevy Tahoe, and we're going to talk about how and why I have this and what I've done to it. All right, guys, let's go. All right, everybody, thanks for coming back and checking us out. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe. Welcome. Check it out. No, not talking to you guys. Welcome. She's never been on the channel before. This is my 2007 Chevy Tahoe. I got this December 26th, 2009. So let's just say 2010. And the reason, I guess, why I got this at the time. Walk it. Walk it like you talk it. Walk it like you talk it. One of the reasons why I got this, because in that particular time frame, we had the 543 valve. And I was going to be damned to have a 543 valve and have the spark plugs break off in my truck. I'm like, yeah, no way. Well, I wasn't about to get a Taurus, although I did have one. I wasn't about to get an Explorer. I know at the time I couldn't What the hell is out there? I don't know if you guys can hear that. Jiminy Cricks. Damn. Sounds nasty. Well, so does this. But nonetheless, I wasn't going to get an Escape. I wasn't getting a Focus. I wasn't getting any other Ford vehicle. And at the time, I didn't know what people did to afford a Ford Super Duty. So I opted for this. At the time, my buddy had a Trailblazer SS with the 6-liter, and it was all-wheel drive. And I thought it was, super cool. His was an 07. And I really liked the Tahoe. I wanted something full size, but I didn't want an Expedition. I just wasn't getting a 543 valve. So that kind of limited my options, and I found this gem locally, and it had, I don't know, 42-ish thousand miles on it. Had one owner. I picked it up. You had to drive it home in the snow, so it got detailed and cleaned, and then had to drive it immediately home in the snow, because here in Michigan, December 26th, it is most likely going to be snowy. So that kind of ruined the nice and funness of that day. But nonetheless, this kind of brings me to where it has sat for the last about 14 years. I've had it just sitting in the garage because I've always had a beater. I had an F-150 that I got rid of to get my Super Duty, and I had the Tahoe sitting in the garage and pretty much drove the F-150. I had a beater 91 Escort GT, and just had always had, the nice trucks or cars in the garage. So after sitting for a while, when I first got it, I think the first mod I did was got rid of the stock 20s, and I got a stock Bridgestone tire, same size as the Caddies. If you were to get the 22, the Crown Jewels, I didn't want an abnormal stick out size, a weird wonky wheel that did not look factory. I mean, you can see down the truck. I mean, the wheels don't stick out at all. It's factory offset, factory size, and worked really well. And the next thing I did was I took off all the moldings front and back door. Shit came out really nice. It was very tedious, but it came out real nice. Took off the LT, took off the Tahoe, took off the bullshit E85, and I had my buddy at the Chevy dealership who worked in the body shop take off the Chevy logo and fill this in and then repaint it so that I could have a debadged rear trim for the back. I think one of the next things I did, this was all rusty, this was so long ago, I'm trying to go over my head as I'm making this video what I did. It had some sticker over here, you can kind of see where it was. I peeled the sticker off. It was kind of rusty, barely see it in there, but I sandpapered it off, got it real nice, taped this all off. I think I got some pictures of it. Gosh, it was so long ago, but spray painted this all black, made it look nice. I've always changed the oil. I always had the GM filter, had Mobil 1, but since we've been running Amsoil, we've switched to Amsoil. I had put all new pads and rotors on it back 2011, maybe 2012. That's when I got these rims and tires. So, I mean, we got definitely 10 years on these, and I ain't bullshitting that it's been sitting. Tires aren't dry rotted. They're not really flat spotted either because it's been driving really nice. So that brings me to the debadging. I got no stickers on it. I did get the blacked out emblem for the front. At the time I had HID headlights and fogs, but now I have just the stock colored fog light bulb and I have the LED now. So it was funny, all we had back then were HIDs and then we had LEDs. So I had to do a little conversion, but I had a guy yesterday ask me if that was a stock headlight. It's 100% stock. 2007, yeah. So then you guys know how I love my lights, and I liked the Escalade because it had the nice LED rear taillights. Well, check that out. These are 100% factory Cadillac Escalade taillights. The only bummer that I had encountered was my factory ones were 5-pin connector, like they had a bulb, and then a harness that went into a 5-pin connector, and you could take out the whole assembly. Well, these were 6-pin. So I had to use a trailer harness adapter to wind up getting my turn signal to work. Well, my turn signals work, but it was most importantly getting this third row. See how there's 1, 2, third row. We got 1, 2, we got brake light, and then this is just a running light. So it was a different circuitry within the light to get that to work, but we finally got it, and I got myself a set of Escalade taillights, shoot, 12 years ago. Guy named Lance on eBay, super cool guy. I think I paid $400 for the set. They look good. But then I had rounded rear appliques. And so it looked kind of goofy. So I got the Escalade rear appliques. So it had that body line that followed down into the taillight. So now that just flowed way better. I liked it. But if you had an Escalade, you'd have these either black or the same color as your truck, and it'd have this body line. If you had a Tahoe, these were rounded, as well as the GMC Denali. But if you had a Tahoe, your rear appliques were the same color as the truck. If you had a GMC Denali, this piece of plastic and this piece of plastic were black. Didn't matter what color the side of the truck was. It could have been white, it could have been burgundy, it could have been silver. This isn't silver, this is kind of like a brown pewtery silver. These were always black. So I wanted the Escalade look. I wanted the GMC Denali paint scheme, but I also didn't want the Chevy emblem. So the GMC Denali didn't have anything here. The Cadillac Escalade did, looked gaudy. I liked the GM naked piece of plastic here, but it had GMC down here. So kind of a different combo. I liked the way that wound up looking. Painted it black, obviously, to get a factory GM black color, but it looked good. I was real happy with it. I like my lights. Then, well, I guess not then. I think one of the very first things before I did the wheels was amp and sub. You cannot not have that. Every vehicle I've had has had an amp and a sub. It was a 6-seater, so I took the seat out. This one has always been folded down, and it's just kind of been a catch-all for whatever. I do have the sliding mat that can cover the cargo area and tether here, so I'm moving a bunch of stuff here, and this is going to be a daily driver right now. So I'm digging it. Haven't driven it in quite some time, but I definitely miss it. It's pleasurable driving. Going from a Super Duty to this, it was different. It's a time to reminisce. So that's really it. I tinted it. I put on some vent visors. I have a hookup for the amp and sub in my center console. I tapped into the amp down there, but to control the power for my amp, because I didn't want to put a switch in and drill it, I use my window lock switch. So what I wound up doing was the power for the left rear door window. I opened up the B-pillar, found the power for that wire, and for whatever reason, GM's is hot because they control the ground. And once I hooked up the power feed for the door window, if I don't want the amp on, I hit the power off for the window lock switch and my amp shuts off. And if I want my amp on, I hit the windows, so all the windows work. Window power goes back to the motor, my amp kicks on. It's just a trigger to turn the amp on. So that was one of the things I did when I first got it. But bring it up to speed almost 10 years later. I had an '07 sport bike, a GSXR 600. I wound up getting rid of that probably about 2018, I think. And then I had some cash, and then I got my income tax return, and I'm looking at this, and then I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at, oh boy. And then I went ahead and did this. Yeah, I wound up pulling the engine out. I took off the whole front clip, dismantled the whole front. I'll have to put the pictures up. I got them on my phone still. It'll be interesting. I'll try to do a collage here. But I wound up taking the whole front of the truck apart and pulled the engine out. And I haven't talked about this in a while, so I'm trying to remember everything I did. I pulled the engine out, removed the heads, put all new GM head gaskets, updated driver side bank 2 valve cover for the PCV outlet that now has a new baffle. I have LS7 valve train, push rods, lifters. I can't remember the name of the valve spring company, but I got double valve springs, new valve stem seals. What else did we do? ARP head studs. I have 1 7/8 maybe. Long tube headers, off-road Y pipe, full Corsa exhaust, Corsa tip. I have a 2.3 liter Whipple blower. I have a stage 3 TSP truck cam, but definitely drivable. It's super cool. To me it sounds like a Vet, but it does not go like a Vet, because in 2007 we didn't have the technology that we have today. And when I was doing this at that very time, I was putting one of these, a Roush Charger, on a brand new F-150. So I got done working, came home, put my blower on, went back to work, finished this guy's blower, came home, finished my blower. It took me 1 month, every day, come home, work on it, do a little bit, pull the engine out, put the engine in. From start to finish, it was 1 month. And I was surprised how easy it was to take all this stuff apart, working on what I came from at work to come home and work on an LS. We didn't have the 7.3 Godzilla yet. So after I got done working on this and then I saw the 7.3, I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. You mean to tell me now you guys are going to come out with some stuff like this? The ease of taking everything apart in the room, accessibility, man. Ford, bro, what are you guys doing? It was quite an experience. I liked it. I do have, you guys saw the Banks box in the back. I have some content coming out. We're going to be actually driving this down to Florida, and I'm going to be leaving it. I'm leaving it. Hopefully it's going to find its home for the rest of its life down in Florida, but it's been sitting in the garage, and its garage privileges have now been fully revoked. So I'm driving the shit out of it. I'm excited when I drive it. The bracket for the power steering, the alternator, water pump pulley, the starter motor, the oil pan, front cover, rear cover. I did that POR 15, taped everything off. It was really a pain in the butt, but I wound up getting the alternator. I wanted everything to be black and look uniform except for this pretty aluminum Whipple bracket that, I mean, I wasn't gonna paint that, so I guess let's lift this thing up. Enough yapping. You know, I sit here and tell you guys the truck's going to Florida. This thing has been in the garage, and the paint is absolutely exceptional. Been under a cover and does not sit in the sun. Well, that's not gonna work out if I'm going to the Sunshine State now, is it? But no baloney. This is it sitting. This is the surfaced El Rusto. I did not have a air-conditioned or heated garage for the majority of its life, so I did try to keep cardboard underneath it to just inhibit the moisture, or try to create a moisture barrier, I guess, rather. So here's my long tubies. Only got front sensors. I'm actually going to be turning that on a Y after so many years. I have left this like this. I wish I would have put the clamp so it was facing down right here. Must have been only wearing one shoe when I put that on. Nino 8309 hooked me up with some heat shielding because, I mean, even though the exhaust went underneath the trans to begin with, I didn't want the bigger pipe, and now, more chances of it getting hotter to be a little subsided. So I did put one little itty bitty cat on just to cut down on the nasty smell. I did get a Course performance exhaust maybe, and it was for a Tahoe, but it only came out the back. And a funny story about that is the Silverado went out to the side, but it said the Silverado wouldn't work for the Tahoe. So as I was driving and I'd have the windows down, was getting this low pressure area, obviously behind my truck, and exhaust was being drawn in. I mean, just got done working on this thing, and oh man, just that no cat smell, stinking. So I'm like, well, maybe I have some air gaps, right? Okay, common sense, right? I got some air gaps, no big deal, no big deal. We'll just mastic patch and cover the air gaps. Didn't do nothing. So continuing forward, I'm like, well, I got it. It's the whole entire liftgate seal, and it goes around the whole liftgate. Guess what? $110 later, that didn't fix it. So my stock exhaust came out to the side. Exactly what was happening is when I had my windows down, I had I had a low pressure area of turbulence behind my truck where all this raw exhaust was chilling. And as soon as I opened up a window, it would draw it in from one of the body vents or somewhere in here or in through the lift gate, whatever, and was just ticking me off. So what I wound up doing was I went back to the exhaust guy and loosened this pipe. In fact, I think we may have even taken it off. He cut this, and I needed this bend. He took this, and instead of it coming out and coming straight back, we cut that pipe, turned it the other way. He re-welded it, and now I have side exit. Boom, done, custom. And guess what? The most important thing, no more raw exhaust smell. So that was what I had to conquer. I finally did it, and it was so much more pleasurable to frickin' drive. So there it is. When you bought a used GM vehicle, you got a 12-month or 12,000-mile warranty, bumper to bumper. Hey, I know how the game works. You damn right. I had them guys at the Chevy dealership next door, I think got tired of seeing me because I bring my thing in there every week for something. It was poor poor radio reception, and they had to replace the rear window because the antenna was etched into the glass. The steering wheel was coming apart, the threads, it was coming apart. And I wound up getting a brand new leather steering wheel. And I had an EVAT problem. It had a wheel bearing problem. What other warranty stuff did I get done? I replaced the battery. It's still got the original battery that I had since when I did the brakes. So what did I say, 2012, 2011 when I put that in. So I've always kept it on a trickle charger. What did I do? I had belts I had done, it was squeaking. I had the trans service. I redid the AC because I pulled the engine, so I had to evac the AC. What else did I have? What other warranty work did I have? Oh, I had them replace the fog lights because they had moisture in it, so I got brand new fog lights. And the old timer who was doing them didn't realize that they were HIDs, and the service advisor called me and he's like, I got some bad news. My technician, he's kind of an old guy, didn't realize what kind of headlights you had, and he broke it. Well, I needed to get new HIDs anyway for the bottoms, but this guy was so pissed when I came in there because he was going to show me what he did. He was an old guy that was not too happy with me that I had these bullshit non-OEM lights, which, hey, I get it. But he doesn't know how much I like lights, so I told him, piss off, Lou. Just kidding. So I think suspension-wise, I didn't do anything. 4x4, no. I did have an EVAT problem, or no, not an EVAT problem, but I saw that there was a bulletin that they did a lot of and had them do some canister purge vent valve thing. I can't remember, it was so long ago. But that is pretty much everything that I can remember. There's nothing else really I've done to the truck other than its time has come and it is getting driven like you wouldn't believe. It's about to leave here shortly on a very close Sunday, and we're going to be driving down with my buddy and I to Florida. And like I said, this is where it's going to be probably staying the rest of its life, but let's see what it's going to sound like. All right, can you reach in there and start it up for me? All right, oh, hold on. We got the intercooler pump. Pumping. Whipple add-on. Came out freaking flawless. All right, I'm gonna go back here to the back, man. And yeah, here we go. Definitely like the way that sounds. Engine. Came out freaking awesome. I was really happy with the work. I know a guy who did it real well. Looked good, sound good. And it's just got that chop. Listen to that chop. Freaking awesome. I love it. I wouldn't have thought I was a GM guy, but this one kind of tickled my fancy. Let me know what you guys think of my non-Powerstroke, my 07 Chevy Tahoe. That is a good looking freaking truck. I appreciate you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, sub, share, and I'll catch you guys all next time. See ya. Well, here's the other side. Factory as all hell. Fake wood. I did, however, take out this and this and hooked up a thing called Blue Logic, and it allows me to finally hook my phone now that none of them have audio jacks anymore. So now I actually have Bluetooth, but because I don't have Sirius XM, FM, AM, and then to XM, it uses the XM band preset. So when I hit band and go to XM, then my Blue Logic appears, and then I can connect my phone to Bluetooth and listen to the TuneSkis. This did have the rear entertainment, and when I had bought this, I did not have any children, and now I have a children. And this technology is old, and the tablet she watches is better than this, so this is freaking useless. I did watch Grandma's Boy. Actually, you know what? I think I still have... Oh, I do. Look at that. I still have Grandma's Boy in here. That's so funny. It came with some headphones, a remote, and then I think in the early days, I didn't have a girlfriend or a wife, and I was just hanging out by myself. I hooked up PlayStation 2 and was playing Vice City in here. It was I'm stupid, but it was fun. So yeah, that's really it for the interior. Here's the cargo liner, or cargo net, cargo blocker thingy, shade, night shade.